It projects incredibly well. This perfume is something else, let me tell you. It's so stunning. It's a very sultry, boozy, gourmand type of scent. It's a gorgeous ambery, woody fragrance. It smells super duper expensive and luxurious. You will have people asking you what you're wearing. Hi guys, I'm Giselle, I review fragrances. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're one of my loyal returning subscribers. So today is all about fragrances you shouldn't wear if you don't like compliments and if you don't want to get noticed. These fragrances are all head turners in their own unique way, and I wanted to share them with you today. So without further ado, let's dive in. So the first fragrance I have on my list today that you shouldn't wear if you don't want to turn heads is Tommy Iommi Defy. Now, let me start by saying, even if the original is not your cup of tea, you should definitely try this one. I think that this flanker shouldn't be a flanker at all. I think it's strong and powerful enough to stand on its own, and it shouldn't even be a flanker. It's so different from the original to a point that even if you don't like the original, you may still love this one, and vice versa, of course. This perfume is something else, let me tell you. It's so stunning. It's a rose leather fragrance, but it's done different. This perfume has a very particular opening because it has apple in the composition together with cinnamon and saffron. So it's spicy and crispy sweet. Let me spray some here. I'm obsessed with this fragrance. It's so good. So the original is stronger in patchouli, it's sweeter. Well, this one is darker, it's slightly inky, it's very mysterious, very dark. Totally matches my vibe today. It's dark, it's mysterious. It does have a gothic component that makes this fragrance ultra sensual, very dark in the best possible way. It's very intoxicating. So this perfume, as I was saying, is completely different from the original. The original is sweeter and it's stronger in patchouli, while this one is strong in leather and rose. However, it's not the typical leather rose combo. The leather here is not like suede, it's real leather. However, it's not animalic, and it's combined with a rose that's done in a way that leans a little bit more masculine than feminine. I find the original a little bit more feminine. However, this one, it's even more special, and honestly, I like it more on women than on men. Although it's a little bit more masculine than the original, I like this one better on women than on men. It's a star, guys. I think this fragrance is very unique. It's very special. It's very intoxicating, very sensual. It's a very sexy fragrance. It's like black leather and rock and roll type of vibe. The base is very beautiful too. It does have patchouli in the dry down, but it's way softer than in the original. It's barely there, to a point that even if you don't like patchouli fragrances, you might still love this flanker. And it's just beautiful. It's a typical nighttime fragrance, particularly better in colder weather. However, let me tell you, I bought it a few months ago during the summer in a trip. Let me tell you, I've been wearing this fragrance ever since I bought it, almost back to back. Every time I go out during the night, it's just too beautiful. I wanted to start wearing it right away. And let me tell you something, when I tried this fragrance during the trip, I bought it at a department store, and I remember when I tried this fragrance, I left the Xerjoff counter for a couple hours because I wanted to test the fragrance and see how the fragrance evolved over time, and you know how it rolls. And I remember stepping into the escalators up, and there was a man behind me, and I remember that he asked me, "Excuse me, may I ask what you're wearing? Because you smell absolutely wonderful." And there was a lady behind him who's taken his opinion, and she also said, "Yes, you smell absolutely beautiful. You have to tell us what you're wearing." And of course, I told them what I was wearing. I'm not a gatekeeper, and I told them I was testing this fragrance because I was entertaining buying it. And they both said, like almost at the same time, "Yes, go for it. It smells absolutely gorgeous on you." So yeah, it's a very beautiful fragrance. It projects incredibly well, and that projection is consistent throughout the lifetime of the fragrance. It's not something that projects in the first hour or so. It does project for the entire lifetime of the fragrance, which is not short. It lasts about 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours on my skin. It's very, very powerful, very potent. It has a very strong presence. It's a very complex fragrance. It goes through different facets. However, there's not one facet that I don't like about this perfume. I'm completely obsessed over Tommy Ayomi. I like it even more than the original, which is a lot to say because I love the original. However, this one, trust me, it's something else. And yes, for this reason, don't wear this fragrance if you don't want to turn heads. The next fragrance on my list is Louis Prince by Louboutin. So this fragrance was created to pay homage to the designer father's home country, which was Egypt. It's a gorgeous ambery, woody fragrance. It smells super duper expensive and luxurious. It is a head turner. Every time I wear this fragrance, I get tons of compliments, and people always say that they never smelled anything like this before. I'm not gonna say I agree with that because I think it has a profile that I've smelled before. I'm not saying I smell the same scent, but it has a very familiar profile to me. However, maybe for people who are not into fragrances, they find it very, very unique. And aside from the fact that it reminds me, or it smells familiar, it is a very, very special fragrance. I wear this fragrance when I have a special occasion, when I want to feel my best, when I want to feel like I'm red carpet ready. This is when I wear this fragrance, and it definitely is fit for a queen. It's a very bold, very unapologetic type of scent. It's for someone who truly loves to command attention, because I can promise you, when you wear this fragrance, even if you don't overspray, in fact, I don't even recommend to overspray this perfume because it's very, very powerful, very strong. I can almost guarantee that you will have people asking what you're wearing. It's very woodsy. It's also powdery, but this is a very modern type of scent. There's nothing vintage here, which I don't have any issues with, but I know that many people have issues with vintage smelling fragrances. So this perfume has some powderiness to it that does not resemble an old makeup case or anything like that. It doesn't smell vintage. It doesn't smell like an old makeup case. But yes, it does have some powderiness that to me it's beautiful and makes an otherwise unisex fragrance pretty feminine. This is an extrait de parfum, so we're talking about the highest oil concentration, and it lasts about 8 hours on my skin, and that's not even overspraying. As I said, I never overspray this fragrance because it can be too much. It projects really, really well during the first couple hours. And sillage is also very beautiful, and you will leave a sillage for the entire time you have this fragrance on. But of course, over time, the sillage will be softer and softer. However, there will always be a sillage there. This fragrance projects and leaves a beautiful central behind you that for sure will turn heads. The next one on my list is Olympia Parfum. This is probably the least talked about and reviewed fragrance from the Olympia line. I think it's been launched during the summer this year. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful floral, feminine floral, musky vanilla fragrance. The floral notes here are very modern. It's not the typical floral that resembles a flower bouquet or indolic or creamy or narcotic type of scents. It's nothing like that. These are modern florals. It reminds me a little bit of the type of florals that Byredo makes, always avant-garde, always very contemporary. And this is the type of floral notes you have here. It's very, very beautiful. Again, a very modern floral fragrance that you can definitely wear all year round. This is not the typical spring, summer type of floral. This is an all year round floral. Now, Olympia Parfum is completely different from the original Olympia and all the other flankers. In fact, it detaches completely from that DNA. It doesn't have the typical salty note that for many people is a turn off from the original and the other flankers. And just as I said with Tommy Ayomi, I think Olympia Parfum could stand on its own because it's completely different. And as I said at the beginning, I think this fragrance shouldn't be a flanker. It has enough presence to stand on its own. It's very smooth, it's velvety, it's creamy. It's sweet, but not candy sweet. This is more like sugary sweet. Imagine sugar, not powdered sugar. Imagine sprinkling crystallized sugar over white flowers petals. That's the type of sugary scent I pick from here. To me, this is also a nighttime type of floral. Floral is a typical olfactory group that we tend to wear during the day, and especially during spring and summer. And what I think that sets this fragrance apart is that, in the first place, I think this is a type of floral that you can pull all year round. You don't have to wait until spring and summer. And second is that this fragrance, to me, is a nighttime type of floral. It's light, but it's deep enough to be worn during the night. And especially when I wear it during the night, I overspray a little bit, and it's gorgeous. It projects incredibly well. It has a beautiful sillage, and the times I wear this fragrance, I always got compliments. So if you don't want to get compliments, if you don't want to get noticed, don't wear Olympia Parfum. The next head turner I have on my list is Blossom Love by 𝘼𝙁𝙁𝙁. This perfume is so beautiful. And again, we have another floral here that you can wear all year round, and it doesn't smell vintage either. It's not indolic, it's not heady, it's not narcotic. It won't be headache inducing or anything like that, but you have to be very mindful with the spritzes, because this fragrance is a powerhouse when it comes to projection, lasting power, and strength. It's a very potent, very powerful, very bold perfume. It's sweet, it's creamy, it's very intoxicating, and it has two notes that I love and make this fragrance stand out, which are amaretto and cherry blossom. It's a very particular combination, and we are more used to see cherry as a note, but not so much cherry blossom. Cherry blossom is the flower of the tree, and it smells way more realistic than cherry. Cherry in fragrances doesn't smell photorealistic at all. In fact, I struggle with that note because in most fragrances that I try on the market, it smells like cough syrup. I tried 3 to 5 fragrances where the cherry is beautiful. It's not photorealistic, but it doesn't smell like cough syrup. However, in most fragrances out there, especially in those Lost Cherry wannabes, the cherry note smells very cough syrupy. Not in Lost Cherry. I still think that Lost Cherry is the best cherry fragrance out there, but that doesn't belong to this video. I'm just bringing that up to make a comparison between the cherry note and the cherry blossom. The cherry blossom it's completely different. It's a completely different note. It's a floral note. It's very sheer. It's very translucent. It's very feminine, slightly powdery, very slightly powdery, and very sophisticated as well. Now, I always thought that Blossom Love was femininity in a bottle until I smelled this fragrance on a guy a few years ago. I never thought in a million years that a guy could pull this fragrance in that way, because it's a very feminine fragrance, and you can wear whatever you want, of course. But you know, some fragrances are typically feminine fragrances that you can't imagine a man wearing that. For example, I can't imagine my husband wearing this fragrance. However, on that guy, it smelled absolutely beautiful. So if you're a guy and you're watching this video, I highly encourage you to try it, because you won't regret, at least if you like this type of scent profile. I would put this fragrance in the same category as Delina and Delina Exclusive. I'm not saying it smells similar. It doesn't smell similar at all. They couldn't be more different. However, what they have in common is that feminine component. I put them in the same category. For instance, if you like the Delinas, Delina and Delina Exclusive, Delina Rosé is a little bit different, but Delina and Delina Exclusive have a very similar scent profile. So if you like that type of DNA, I highly encourage you to try Blossom Love. It truly is a head turner. I always receive compliments. It's a powerhouse when it comes to lasting power. Seriously, Blossom Love and another one I have on this list last forever, and the only way to get rid of them is in the shower, scrubbing my skin. They are annoyingly long lasting. So yeah, it's a very long lasting fragrance. It projects incredibly well. It has a beautiful sillage. Usually floral fragrances tend to have a very sheer, very delicate sillage that disappears pretty quickly. Now this one, there's nothing sheer about it, there's nothing translucent. This has a very dense sillage, a very beautiful sillage. It literally leaves a cloud more than a trail. Yeah, it's a very special fragrance, a very unique type of floral scent, like all 𝘼𝙁𝙁 creations. I adore 𝘼𝙁𝙁. I love this house. They have very unique fragrances, and Blossom Love is no exception. So if you don't want to get noticed, if you don't want to get compliments, don't wear Blossom Love. If you like this type of super duper long lasting scent profiles, I highly encourage you to try Blossom Love by 𝘼𝙁𝙁. So the next fragrance on my list today is 𝘿𝙄𝙎𝘏 by Kilian. This fragrance, it's a staple in my collection, and I will keep on buying this on repeat for as long as Kilian makes it. It's such a beauty. I absolutely love it. It's one of the few boozy fragrances out there that still manages to be pretty feminine. To me, it leans more feminine. It's completely unisex, but to me, it leans more feminine. It's sweet, it's intoxicating, it's very luxurious, it's very mass appealing as well. I always get compliments. There's always something to be said about this fragrance. It really is very beautiful. Not only compliments I get, but I have complimented people on this fragrance. And another thing I've noticed that it's very peculiar about 𝘿𝙄𝙎𝘏 is that it smells super duper different on every single person. And yeah, we know that we all have different skin chemistry, different pH and everything, like Baccarat Rouge 540, for example, Jean Paul Gaultier Label. Those fragrances are always very recognizable, regardless who wears it, if it is a man or a woman, it doesn't really matter, but we always recognize that type of DNA. However, 𝘿𝙄𝙎𝘏 works more like a molecular type of scent in that it blends with each person's chemistry. This is my perception. Don't quote me on this because this is nothing that the house has officially said, right? But in my experience, this is what I've noticed. That is what my experience has been so far. And every single time I smell 𝘿𝙄𝙎𝘏 on someone, I can't guess it's 𝘿𝙄𝙎𝘏. I have to ask, what are you wearing? And I'm always surprised when they say it's 𝘿𝙄𝙎𝘏 because I know how this fragrance smells. I have it, I wear it all the time. So I'm always surprised when they say it's 𝘿𝙄𝙎𝘏 and I can't even recognize it. So let me know in the comments if you experience something like this with 𝘿𝙄𝙎𝘏. I'm really curious. And yeah, this fragrance is absolutely gorgeous. It also has a praline note. Praline provides creaminess, provides depth, and it also gives this fragrance that kind of silky, velvety texture, although we are talking about a boozy fragrance, right? But still, it's very smooth, very velvety, and of course that praline note provides a gourmand aspect to it that makes it totally addictive. I would define 𝘿𝙄𝙎𝘏 as a very sultry, boozy, gourmand type of scent. It has sandalwood, it has oak, it has cinnamon, so we have a spicy but also woodsy and creamy scent because we have the creaminess from the praline and the creaminess from the sandalwood. So yes, back to my previous point, it's a very velvety, very smooth, boozy fragrance. The sandalwood and the cedar are combined with vanilla in the base, and vanilla not only provides another gourmand aspect and sweetness to the fragrance, but also provides warmth and coziness. 𝘿𝙄𝙎𝘏 is one of those fragrances that, in my opinion, truly lives up to the hype. As I said at the beginning, I will keep on buying this fragrance on repeat for as long as Kilian makes it. It smells very expensive, very luxurious. It is a head turner, massive compliment getter. It's very radiant, very intoxicating, and very addictive. It's a unisex fragrance, although to me it leans more feminine, but it's completely unisex. It lasts around 4 hours on my skin. Every time I go out and I wear 𝘿𝙄𝙎𝘏, I always carry a decant because I know that after the 4 hours mark, 4 or 5 hours mark, the fragrance becomes way softer. It actually never disappears. It's not that after 4 hours the fragrance is gone. It's not like that, but during the first 3-4 hours, the fragrance is very present. However, after the 4 hours mark, and that's the reason why I always carry a decant with me, the fragrance starts sitting closer to the skin and it becomes a skin scent, more subtle, softer. And if you want to keep smelling that beautiful gourmand booziness, yeah, you would definitely need to respray a little bit, but who cares, right? That's why decants are for. 𝘿𝙄𝙎𝘏 by Kilian is a must try. So the next fragrance on my list is Santal Blush by Tom Ford. This has been my signature scent for years. I absolutely adore this fragrance, and I remember the first time, I can't get enough. I can't get enough of Santal Blush. I remember the first time I tried this fragrance, I bought it at Nordstrom years ago, and I remember the first time I tried, it was just 2 spritzes, like 1 on each wrist. And I remember there were 2 essays that were way at the back, and they ran towards me and they asked me, what did you just try? Because we could smell it from afar, we could smell it from the back. And I told them that it was Santal Blush, and they said, oh my God, how we were here, we haven't even noticed. that we had this fragrance here, because it wasn't popular back in the day. I'm talking about years ago. I think it was around 2013, 2014, something like that. So yeah, they knew they had Tom Ford, but they never really paid attention to this fragrance. And they both loved it, and they said that they wanted to buy it for themselves. So yeah, that was my first encounter with Tom Ford Santal Blush, and ever since it's been my signature scent to this day. And I think it's one of the best sandalwood fragrances you can find out there. It's super creamy, super velvety. It's totally unisex, although I think it leans more feminine, but it's completely unisex. Day or nighttime type of scent, and all year round type of scent. During the summer, it smells way creamier than during the winter. I think under warmer weather, it smells even better. It's an all year round type of scent, but I think during the summer or under warm weather conditions, especially high heat and high humidity, it smells absolutely incredible. It pulls that creaminess way stronger, but it's a fragrance that I wear all year round and I never get tired of it. That's why it's been my signature scent for years. When I wear Santal Blush during the night, sometimes I like to layer it with Eccentric O2 by Eccentric Molecules, which is basically ambroxan. And ambroxan is a synthetic molecule that has a woodsy, a very light, soft woodsy scent. And it helps a lot with lasting power and projection. And if you're wearing a woodsy fragrance and you want to strengthen that woodsy component, you should definitely try Eccentric O2 because it's an amazing tool. I always say that Eccentric O2, which is ambroxan, and Molecular One, also from Eccentric Molecules. Molecular One actually is 𝘰𝙁𝙎, which is another synthetic molecule that helps with projection or lasting power. I always say that to me, those are tools more than fragrances. And I've also linked them down below in case you want to try them. I think they are amazing tools, as I was saying, because they do help with lasting power, projection, and overall performance. But usually when I layer it with Eccentric O2 and ambroxan, it's when I go out during the night and I want to be a little more extra. And yeah, that's when I layer it. Otherwise, I won't. It's beautiful as is. And trust me, it doesn't need anything else. But you know, those days when you want to feel a little bit extra, then it's when I layer it with ambroxan. To me, Santal Blush is a masterpiece, and it still manages to stand out among all the sandalwood fragrances out there. It's a beauty, very creamy. And another thing, I don't know if you know about this, but most Tom Ford's eau de parfums have very high oil concentrations. They're actually borderline extraits, because typically eau de parfum have an oil concentration between 15 and 20%, something in that neighborhood. However, Tom Ford eau de parfums have anywhere between 26 and 28%. So the oil concentration is very high, which make the fragrances last longer. So yes, I know Tom Ford perfumes are on the pricey side. However, in my opinion, they are worth every single penny. I've never regretted any purchase I've made from Tom Ford. It lasts 8 to 10 hours on my skin. And I would say that aside from the lasting power, another remarkable aspect is its projection. I was sharing this story with the essays. It does project very well. It has an impressive projection. So if you haven't tried yet, I think you should definitely try Santal Blush by Tom Ford. And the last one for today, guys, is 𝘿𝙁 by Mind Games. So if you are like me and you like to smell different and you like to smell unique, I think you should definitely try Mind Games. It's an incredible house. They have incredible fragrances. But 𝘿𝙁, I think it's the most underrated fragrance, and it definitely needs more love. It needs to be discovered because it's something else. It's something very different. So 𝘿𝙁, it's a very complex fragrance, non-traditional, completely non-traditional. We have a mix of everything here. We have leather, we have flowers, we have fruits here, we have a gourmand component, we have apricots, we have black currant, we have blackberry leaf, which is slightly green. It's not like the fruit, but it's like a fruity green type of scent, similar to black currant. It also has jasmine, it has orris, that's the floral component. It has leather, of course. This is a leather fragrance, but the most different leather fragrance you can find on the market. And it also has popcorn. Popcorn truly is the star of the show here, which makes this fragrance also a little bit gourmand, but it's done in a very refined way. It's done so well that it still manages to smell amazing and smell very luxurious and expensive, even when it has that strong gourmand component. And it's a beauty. It's so beautiful, very buttery, very soft, very velvety, edible at the same time without smelling tacky. So 𝘿𝙗𝙎 is very intense, it's very bold, very addictive. Oh my god, I have to tell you, I'm completely obsessed with this fragrance. 𝘿𝙗𝙎 is a powerhouse when it comes to performance, when it comes to presence. Gosh, it's so incredible. It has such a powerful presence. It's extremely long lasting. I get more than 10 hours on my skin, and together with Blossom Love, as I was saying earlier, those are the longest lasting I have on my list today, and the only way to get rid of them, it's in the shower, as I explained before, after scrubbing my skin, because they truly are super duper long lasting. It's a typical nighttime scent that I only wear during the winter or maybe fall, but especially winter, and the colder the nights, the better. It's a very elevated fragrance. It truly makes me feel like a queen every time I wear it. It commands attention, let me tell you. So if you like compliments, if you like to be smelled before you enter the room, you should definitely try 𝘿𝙗𝙎 by 𝘍𝙗𝙎. So this is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed my video about the fragrances you shouldn't wear if you don't want to get compliments and if you don't want to get noticed. Let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see next. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.